Chapter 1. The Empty Bench Rule. Number 1. Show up for people, even when you don't know what to say. It was a quiet, rainy Tuesday afternoon, the kind where the clouds hang low like heavy thoughts. I was walking my usual path through the park, hood pulled up, hands in my pockets, lost in my own small worries. That's when I saw her, Mrs. Kaleem. She lived 2 buildings down. I didn't know much about her, just a polite wave here and there, a brief "Assalamu alaikum" when we passed. But that day, she wasn't her usual composed self. She sat alone on a wooden bench, motionless, like a painting someone forgot to finish. There was something hollow in the way she stared into the trees. Her hands were clenched tightly in her lap. The world moved around her, but she didn't move. I almost kept walking. What would I even say? I wasn't family. I wasn't close. And yet something in my chest pulled me back. I turned around and slowly approached her, the wet gravel crunching under my shoes. I didn't ask permission. I didn't speak. I just sat down beside her. For 5 minutes, we sat like that. Just 2 souls under gray skies, rain tapping gently on the umbrella I held between us. I kept my eyes forward, letting the silence settle. Then, softly, she whispered, "He passed away this morning." Her voice cracked, but she didn't cry. She didn't need to. I didn't say, "I'm sorry." I didn't say anything at all. Sometimes words are too small for certain moments. She didn't need answers. She just needed someone to stay. Chapter 2. The Missing Apology Rule. Number 2. Say sorry before it's too late. We used to be inseparable, me and my brother, built blanket forts, played cricket in the alley, whispered secrets into the night from the top and bottom of our shared bunk beds. But somewhere along the way, between growing up and growing apart, we let one argument become a wall, something small, something stupid. I don't even remember the words we said, only the silence that followed. 6 months of it. Neither of us messaged, neither of us called. Pride did what distance couldn't. It turned love into stubbornness. Then one night, scrolling through old photos on my phone, I saw us. 2 little boys covered in mud, laughing with mouths wide open, no idea that the world could one day pull them apart. I stared at that picture for a long time. My thumb hovered over the screen. Then I opened the chat. The last message between us was a joke from a year ago. I typed 2 words. "I'm sorry." I paused. My chest tightened. What if he ignored it? What if too much time had passed? But I hit send anyway. 5 minutes later, my screen lit up. "I've been waiting for this." That's all he wrote. But it said everything. The wall didn't fall with a crash. It softened. And sometimes that's all you need. A beginning. A bridge built with nothing more than a few brave words. Chapter 3. The Last Sunrise Rule. Number 3. Don't postpone joy. Zara had a way of turning the ordinary into something beautiful. She could make a chipped mug feel like an heirloom, or a walk around the block feel like a small adventure. But there was one dream she always carried in her heart like a folded note. I want to watch the sunrise from the mountains. She mentioned it often. Someday, she'd say, eyes bright. But life kept getting in the way. Work deadlines, family plans, unexpected expenses. Someday became a placeholder, pushed further down the road by things that felt urgent but never truly important. Then came the diagnosis. Late-stage cancer. Suddenly, the road ahead didn't stretch on forever. That evening, I asked her, "Do you still want to see the sunrise?" She didn't answer right away, just looked out the window as if measuring how many moments she had left to spend. Then she nodded once. The next morning, before the sun, we packed a thermos of chai, 2 wool blankets, and drove into the hills. The air was thin and sharp, the kind that stings your lungs but makes you feel alive. We hiked slowly, her breath shallow but determined. We reached the viewpoint just in time. The sky began to change, minute by minute. Dark blue turned to violet, then to orange and gold. The light spilled over the cliffs like a blessing. It was quiet, just birds, wind, and the sound of 2 people witnessing something ancient and new. Zara took a sip of her chai, pulled the blanket tighter around her, and whispered, "This is enough. Not perfect, not grand, not someday, just now." And now was everything. Chapter 4. The Old Guitar Rule. Number 4. Keep something that reminds you of who you were. When I moved out of my childhood home, I was ruthless with what I packed. Clothes, books, kitchen stuff, the essentials. Everything else went into boxes, some to keep, most to give away. Then I saw it, my old guitar. It was resting in the corner of the closet, half covered in dust. The wood was scratched, the strings slightly rusted. I hadn't played it in years. University, work, deadlines. Life had stolen the rhythm from my fingers. I almost left it behind. But something made me pause. Maybe it was the silence in my new apartment or the memory of a song I used to play over and over. So I kept it. Weeks later, on a night when everything felt heavy and I couldn't sleep, I found myself sitting on the floor with that guitar in my lap. My hands were stiff, my fingers fumbled, but somehow they remembered. I strummed the first chord I ever learned. It echoed through the empty room, soft and imperfect. And just like that, I was 16 again. Barefoot on the roof, singing to the stars, dreaming of faraway cities and a life full of stories. That single sound cracked something open in me. Not everything has to move forward. Some things are meant to hold you still, just long enough to remind you who you are. That old guitar didn't just play music that night. It played memory. It played hope. It played me. Chapter 5. The Mirror and the Mistake. Rule number 5. Forgive yourself and begin again. We all make mistakes, but some leave marks that echo. Mine did. It started with one bad decision, one that came from fear, not malice. But it was enough to break something that had taken years to build, a friendship that had once felt like family. Words were said, trust cracked, and when silence followed, it wasn't peaceful, it was punishing. I replayed that moment in my mind over and over again, like a broken record, I wrote texts I never sent. I rehearsed apologies I never gave. I punished myself quietly by withdrawing from joy, from people, from parts of myself I used to like. Guilt became my shadow. But one morning, in the blur of a tired reflection, I stood in front of the mirror, staring at a face that looked far older than it should. I don't know what came over me, but I said it out loud, like I was speaking to a stranger who needed to hear it. You are not your worst moment. My voice cracked. My eyes welled up. It didn't undo the past. It didn't magically heal the friendship or erase the pain. But it did something else. It opened the door. A door to healing. A door to beginning again. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting. It's about allowing yourself the grace to grow beyond your mistakes. That morning, I took my first real breath in weeks, and for the first time, I believed I was still worthy of another chance. Epilogue: The 8 Rules. Looking back, life didn't hand me these lessons all at once. They came slowly, sometimes in silence, sometimes in pain, sometimes wrapped in moments so ordinary I almost missed them. But they stayed, and over time they became my compass. Maybe they can be yours too. 1. Show up for people, even when you don't have the perfect words. Presence speaks louder than perfection. 2. Say sorry before it's too late. Don't let pride steal people from your life. A single apology can rebuild what silence tries to destroy. 3. Don't postpone joy. There will always be a reason to wait. Choose to live now before someday becomes never. 4. Keep something that connects you to your past. Not everything old is useless. Some things hold your story, your spirit, your start. 5. Forgive yourself. You are not your worst moment. Healing begins the day you stop being your own judge. 6. Speak the truth, even when your voice shakes. Honesty is uncomfortable, but it frees you. Hiding who you are only builds walls between hearts. 7. Celebrate small wins. You don't need a grand victory to feel proud. Joy lives in progress, in trying, in getting back up. 8. Love without keeping score. Real love is not a transaction. It's not about who gave more. It's about showing up again and again with an open heart. These rules won't solve every problem, but they might just carry you through the moments that matter most. And that's enough.